I'm back. Wait, I gotta look over here. I'm back. How you doing? Listen, this time last January, I was supposed to be back, and then stuff started happening. Whistleblowers, hearings, crazy UFO sightings of aliens, and all these things started happening, and I just became a witness to history. I guess I couldn't bring myself back because I was so plugged in. Well, that's also life, right? Life always happens, and it is always something that blocks people from discovering the truth, right? You got to stay stuck on your phone. You got to be looking to see who sent you a WhatsApp. But that's the way life is. We have to come outside of life and the rigors and the requirements and the connections in order to figure shit out. I mean, Einstein went through that. You think he really cared about getting dressed every day? No, he had the same goddamn suit all the time that he wore. Not one suit, he had several that he wore, but there was no picking designers or picking colors or nothing like that with him. Why? Because he wanted to focus on what was important to him. Now, that am I saying don't ever wear a damn nice suit or a nice dress or whatever? I'm not saying that, but for Pete's sake, we need to unplug from the social, I don't know, what do you call that? Social prison that we're in. Basically, we need to unplug from that to figure out this UAP stuff. Now, I want to come back in 2026, but there's a couple of things that I found in 2025 that were just mesmerizing for me. They were just fantastic, to be honest. There's one that apparently people just don't talk about, and I don't understand why. So I will tell you right now, this camera's in the wrong spot because I can't find a good spot for it, but it's here. It's working. The mic works. The background works. I kind of blurred it because some people were saying they were getting, I don't know, hypnotized by the lights, or maybe they were gonna have an epileptic attack. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but the lights were too much. Ufology is nuts right now. And the one thing I want to say is before I get started, with a few things that I noticed were highlights. Whistleblowers are always a highlight because they're giving up a lot of freedoms. We see this all the time with like movie stars and stuff like that, or people in the public arena, kind of like in politics. They give up that freedom of being able to stay behind the scenes, not being recognized. But whistleblowers, I don't know what makes a whistleblower, to be honest. Let's just talk about the fact that you're going to go as a whistleblower, but some of them seem to do it just because they're angry. They want to get revenge. Yes, some of them say that their rights were trampled on and they were threatened and all this kind of stuff. I could kind of see that, but I don't know. I don't think it's the same for everyone as far as the reason why they're going into this whistleblower business. But for fuck's sake, you should know. Sorry, I'm going to try to cuss a little less. You should know that things are going to change significantly once there's a face to the story. And so, I don't know. Whistleblowers are just a bit of an enigma for me, I guess. The only way to put it. But a lot of things happened in 2025. Too much for me to cover in this video, and I probably won't cover all of it because you, as a person that watches this channel or used to watch this channel, you just said, "Oh shit, Manny's back." You already know that it's probably like 1,000 times more outlets out there on YouTube, on podcast platforms and stuff like that now than there were 4 or 5 years ago. So you are definitely involved in the conversation. And if you're following this channel for the first time you came across it, I'm sorry. I'm not polished. This is as high tech as it gets, this thing back there. But we're going to try our best. I'm not going to come in here, balls to the wall, trying to do 10 episodes a week. It's not going to happen. Life is still happening. It is for me, and I know it is for you. Now, I do make time to listen to other shows. Everybody watches Area 52. Come on. What great content. And there's many more out there. I still go on and listen to Corbell and what's the damn weaponized. Corbell's weaponized. with our buddy from Las Vegas. But you know, we've got to make time for this if you want to know the truth. This year had a lot of crazy things that happened. Let me pull this up. One of the most recent ones, as we dive into this topic of the things that kept me kind of like on the edge of things. One of the most recent ones, let me just click here a little bit, was of course the hearing. Congress was back at it again. Back in September, they were in there, and really, for weeks, people were saying this thing was not going to happen. They said it's not going to go down. But we ended up with the likes of Dylan, Borland, Air Force veteran. And you know, the Air Force is so tight-lipped. Everybody else will give you like nuggets here and there, especially, you know, since we really started, you know, going head deep into this UFO situation back 6-7 years ago. But here we got Air Force veterans who are coming out and saying, hey, this stuff is not right. The public needs to know. You know, and yeah, the public needs to know. I get it. The public needs to be aware of this. But, you know, I don't think we're ever going to get the full details unless ET comes down in his boxer shorts and tells us, hey, here's a little book I wrote for you. Read it. Send it out in PDF. Or it takes over AI, which is another interesting theory for this year that people are going to go and really dive into, whether or not there'll be a point where AI and ET combine together and take over the planet. I don't know. Something like that, right? Jeffrey Nuccetelli, another one, Air Force veteran, whistleblower. What great stories these guys had. You got to go back on YouTube, okay? Go back and see the hearing. It is available everywhere, several channels. You don't even got to really search that hard. It's there. You have to sit through this. And here's the thing. It really bugs me when people who are interested in a topic don't take the time. This is not real research. You're not writing a fucking paper. But take the time to sit down and watch. I think that one went kind of long. I think it was almost 2 hours plus. I don't know. But still, in that particular congressional hearing, they dropped something huge. And the last one was Chief Wiggins. And by the way, Chief Wiggins is active duty Navy. Hello. What more could you ask for? That's a thriller right there. We don't even need movie stars. These are the movie stars right here. In this particular hearing, there was a bombshell video. Oh, I hate using the word bombshell. It makes me mad when people use bombshell in the titles of their YouTube videos. I don't even know why I said that. Snap out of it, Manny. Anyway, there was a video of a UAP eluding or redirecting a Hellfire Missile. How the fuck does that happen? The weird thing about the video, I mean, it's coming from a military platform, so it's not, you know, what they call that, real live color. It, you know, it's in some kind of, and probably FLIR or something like that. But it appeared like the thing kind of split up into smaller objects, and then they kept on going after the incident with the Hellfire Missile. These are things you have to look at. Even people who are not following ufology around that time, when this video came out public over the news, different news platforms were bananas over it. They were hooked. Like, what the hell does that to a Hellfire Missile? And there are certain things about a Hellfire Missile that kind of make it not the right missile to use in air-to-air combat type of thing, or however the hell, wherever the hell shot it. But it happened. They caught it on video. Somebody dropped this to Congress. And I want to say is Representative Burleson, he got this in the dead drop, they called it. Like nobody knows who the fuck said it to him. It was just there. And you know, hey, if I'm part of this UAP congressional hearings, for damn sure, I'm going to bring that out to the public. So that way they stop saying I'm nuts as hell. He's a nice guy, to be honest. I like Burleson. You know, he was really skeptical at first. Like outwardly, big time, in your face skeptical. I feel like he might be believing a little bit. He might be buying into the ufology things, as you might say. I don't know. They're still on this. The rumor is they don't know if they will or they will not have any more hearings. This last one was pretty good. George Knapp was on there, and he kind of disclosed basically the names of people that possibly could know more about these legacy projects, retrieval projects for UFOs, UAPs. The companies themselves that might be involved in this, and folks that work for those companies. Truth be told, these guys have been receiving this information for the longest time. Whether or not they believe it, whether or not they have access to it, whether or not anyone's even going to allow them to have the information, time will tell. But eventually, you hit that wall enough times, you will get something out of it. Like a knot on your head, a bruise. But you might just chip off of that wall enough to satisfy the public. The public that put you in place to get things done in Congress. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a good one, nonetheless, I'm sure. Age of Disclosure was the next one. Oh, by the way, this is not only is this coming out on YouTube, I'm also going back to putting this into the audio only format. So some of you might be surprised you see a new episode after years of not being on audio. The tough thing about going from YouTube to audio is that unless you're on YouTube, you're not going to see my slides. This time around, my slides, nothing to shake a stick at, but hey, what can you do? Age of Disclosure, what a great documentary. So many people on YouTube clearly thought that just because you've been following this for a while, that this wasn't going to mean anything to you. It was like a for dummies video for people to get caught up on UFOs. No, it sure isn't. And honestly, did I use it that way? Yeah. So I took people that I knew personally who were not in sync with the ufology world. And I said, hey, come sit down and watch this with me. They were blown away. Mind blown, flames and everything. Tops of their heads popped off. When they see these 34 individuals talking about the sheer amount of evidence, to be honest. I mean, there's so much evidence, it makes no sense. And by the way, in future episodes, I will bring on Grok with me, because he has a voice module, to talk about this, because I don't know if you guys remember, I do own a Tesla, and now Grok is in it. So a lot of times when the car is driving me home, I will talk to Grok about ufology and, things that are going on. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe in aliens. He's just like, whatever, you're stupid. I'm going to redirect your car into the next wall and just end it all. But there's interesting things in there, and I think that'll be fun anyway. Before aliens take over AI, I might as well just bring it on the podcast. But anyway, this documentary was phenomenal to me. Even if you are so involved in ufology that you show up in DC for the congressional hearings, that you go to UFO festivals every year, several times a year, this is still a worthwhile documentary to watch. I recommend it for everyone. Now, I missed it when it was here in Texas. It's South by Southwest was when it was first introduced at that event. I missed it. I'm not even that far from it. But, I had other things going on. And I think I was actually traveling down to SpaceX to try to catch a launch. We'll have to talk about SpaceX also, because something's wrong. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it was so... How can I say? You really get involved into this topic in the way that these people in intelligence and in government, how they see this UFO thing. Marco Rubio was front and center. All these things were coming out about Marco Rubio. All of a sudden, after the disclosure, the day of disclosure, age of disclosure came out, how he was going to talk to President Trump and go out and get him to just say something and disclose information that we're dying to hear. I don't know about you guys, but I remember Trump in his first 4 years, and he was not into the topic at all. And it doesn't really seem like he's into it now. It could all be a ploy. Maybe they give him the old speech. You say something about this without proper clearance, off with your head. You'll be done. You and your whole family. We'll take them all out. I don't know. Will Trump say something? I feel there's some macro issues going on. Russia, China, Venezuela, got to take all their oil. There's a lot of things going on to where this is not going to be. I mean, honestly, if he comes out and says something now, he will not be able to focus on anything else but UFOs for a good time, because the questions will not stop. It won't. It'll be constant bombardment, and he will literally lose his flipping mind over even saying or mentioning any of that. But listen, it is something you've got to check out. And I get it, you got to pay for it or whatever. Come on. How much did you pay for that beer or for that bottle of Jack? Come on. Do this. Take people that you know personally who are on the fence about UFOs and aliens or NHI. Show them this. Sit down with them. Have like a screening or something. I'm telling you, everyone that I showed it to came out of this documentary completely blown away. I did too. And I think I've watched it like 6 times already. So there you go. If you haven't checked it out, highly recommend it. Do it anyway. Yeah, I know you are the servant of ufology history. You know it all. But watch it anyway. It's cool. And by the way, controversy, of course, right? Controversy, they say the director, Dan Farah, he kind of messed things up in the way he reported things and how things started back in the beginning. But watch it, and that let me know what you think. Was there something regarding how OSAP and all this other, ATIP nonsense happened, and who actually started these programs? See if you catch to the error that everyone's being controversial about. And of course, everybody mentions Lou Elizondo. I don't know about that guy. I feel like everyone just wants to hate him for one reason or another. I mean, he's a roughneck. I don't think Lou doesn't put his emotions out there, so a lot of people don't know how to take him, I guess. I don't know what it is. I had the same feelings too, so I really can't say shit about that, to be honest. But in 2025, something you need to look at. This story was another one that is absolutely phenomenal. A woman out of Compton, California, her name is Jessica Ortiz, captured an alien, NHI, on her ring cam. Let me see if I could put this a little larger for you. Look at that dude. Now, apparently, a lot of studies have been made, and the video has been certified as being real, not AI, sorry, not tampered with. But for Jesus Christ's sake, by the way, there's a science theorist that says, dear God, and there's the alien under it. Boy, a lot of people are going to have issues with that. What a video. You've got to watch this video. I'm going to include the link in this episode so you can watch the video. It became national news. So if you missed it, I don't know how you did. Because it was national. And you see this being walking. It looked like a little alien troll, to be honest. But wow. What are the chances? There's also some other, how should I say, kind of podcast interviews that she's done, kind of like on YouTube. And longish form, she takes people through the entire night of what happened. And also there was an incident that occurred at the same time with her neighbor, who happens to be her aunt. And these might all be connected. You've got to listen to Mrs. Ortiz retelling of this incident. This video and how she first saw it and showed it to her son, and it's just crazy. But like I said, a lot of people have been out there trying to debunk, because that's what people love to do. They're trying to debunk the video, saying it was tampered. They used AI, it was edited, and apparently this video is intact. It has not been tampered. There was no AI added to it or used. And listen, you guys have got to check out this interview. Just go on there and look for the Compton alien UFO ring cam video, NHI, whatever, Or just look for her name. Jessica Ortiz captures alien on ring camera. It's a great video. The alien part is kind of short. The alien is kind of short. But if you look at this, like some people have said that maybe her kid was inside of a costume. When you look at the neck and the size of that head, this is a funny looking kid. Like this kid, she probably doesn't even send him to school. This kid's just homeschooled, I guess, because with a head and neck like that, you don't even look human. You've got to be mistaken for NHI all the time. I'm gonna be honest. So hopefully, that's not the case. People aren't trying to say that her son is some freak NHI like this. I mean, because it's wild. It just a walk and you gotta look at it. If you haven't seen it, take a look, please. Don't make me waste my time putting this together. These are the things you should be looking at, as people back in New York would say. The last one, which I follow this only because when this particular story first came out several years ago, everybody thought it was fake, right? Because of Jaime Maussan out of Mexico, because he brought it forward to the general public. And so, people were freaking out saying, it's another fake Jaime Maussan story. I remember back in the beginning, and this is, by the way, the Nazca mummies. And I remember back in the beginning, like the Russians were sending scientists over there and they wanted to have a mummy for themselves. And actually, if they had a mummy over there right now, they probably wouldn't be screwing around with this war they've put together, which apparently they're not doing very well on. But I digress. If you look at the image right now, this is a recent x-ray that was done by Dr. Fung. Thanks, Dr. Fung. We appreciate you. Dr. Fung is a radiologist, and he's got 40 years of experience. He took one of the big Nazca mummies, the huge ones, and he did an x-ray of the head. Apparently, the x-rays show that the way that this alien mummy, NHI, somebody's mummy, that the way that this alien was preserved, that the eyes themselves might be preserved. There might even be a lens that's partially intact. So they've done DNA, they've checked the anatomy, they've looked at things like contamination and all these kind of skeletal features. And so far, these mummies, and not all of them, and I'll get to that in a second, but these mummies, like this one, Maria, doesn't look like it was tampered with. Like they didn't take a bunch of dead people from Peru and chopped them up and made mummies out of them. Well, with her, that's not the case. They might have with other stuff. Sorry, but that's the way it is down there. Oh, back in the day. I don't know if they do it now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Peru. Please, don't sue me. There has been a lot of discussion over these mummies over the last few years, especially the fact that there were some smaller ones. They actually did look like they were made of several body parts from different individuals. This might be the case. This is probably what happened way back then. But the story starts emerging that these little dolls of human flesh, that these were probably done as a tribute to this particular being like Maria. There are also smaller ones which are also intact that have eggs in them, which appear to be somewhat of a reptilian origin. There is an X account dedicated to the Nazca mummies, which is always reporting updated research, tests, reports, and actually giving the public access to it because they believe that you should have access to what's actually happening and not listening to all these people that, talk a lot of shit without knowing what's being tested, what's being done, what kind of x-rays are being done, what kind of, tests in general that are proving to be very insightful and showing that some of these entities that they found are real. That people are kicking around the idea that this might have been different species of humans. They might have been still alive at one point. Or, again, NHI. Nobody knows yet. I think a lot of people still are afraid to really put a finite answer as to what these are, except for the ones that they know they're fake. There are some fake ones. The problem is that once people resolve to the idea that some of these are fake, they just decided they were all fucking fake. I mean, isn't that the way it is? One bad apple ruins the whole fucking bunch. But some of these are intact. Some of these are not tampered with. Some of these, like in this particular study done by Dr. Fung, turn out to have real material that might be preserved, which, be kind of ugly for them to dig in the eye. But come on, at this point, you have to. You have to go in there, dig in the damn eye, take it out, take a piece, and let's get down. Let's get down with some answers. Let's do some testing. Now, there are stories that say that there are quite a few of these bodies in those caves in Nazca. I mean, a lot. So we'll have to see what happens, because I know the government of Peru is not exactly one that wants to let these bodies go past their borders. And initially, they were pushing back hard, did not want these bodies to even leave the country of Peru. Well, listen, Peru, you might just have in your midst the answer to a lot of questions that humanity has. So stop screwing around, get with it. In this episode, I also put the link to the X account that follows all the current events for the Nazca mummies. And like I said, if you don't have X, I get it. You're not going to go there. But if you do, I follow it. I kind of stay on top of this stuff that's being reported when it comes to the Nazca mummies, because I think it's important. I mean, we have actual bodies here. The one thing that all part of ufology lacks is actual freaking bodies, or real artifacts. Here we have freaking caves full of bodies. Stop screwing around. Let's get in there, dig those suckers up, and let's put them through every single test we know. It's just that easy. You don't even have to play around. It's all there. Anyway, those are the things that, let me see if that's the last one. Did I have one more? Oh my God, how could I almost forgot the most important one. 3-Eye Atlas. Holy moly. This image right here, let me just expand it here. Yeah, this image came from December 27th. I think it's from Hubble, not really sure. But, the image itself, I got it titled 3-Eye Atlas and Avi Loeb. That's a dream team. That literally is the ufology dream team right there. You have a well-known scientist with all the credentials, and you have this interstellar object that gives no fucks about physics. Made in heaven, those two. It's been a crazy year. Avi Loeb following 3-Eye Atlas and making the claims that it's a possibility that this thing it's not a comet, that it could be some kind of, alien tech that if you're not looking and you're not paying attention could drop some serious shit on your backyard. And I know the message he has. It makes total sense what Avi's saying. If we don't start paying attention to these things, eventually someone's going to drop a Trojan horse into our solar system, and then we're screwed. It'll be too late for us to do anything about it. Now, last week, Avi was going on, doing his News Nation news junket, going through all these interviews, and he kind of conceded somehow that this is a comet. But apparently it changed. He already changed this week. I think he's leaning more to it's not a comet. And the thing is just doing stuff that it just doesn't happen. It's never happened. Now, people in the science community, of course, they say, hey, it's because it's coming from another solar system far, far away. And so their physics might be different. How the fuck does that happen? How does physics change in the same galaxy from one solar system to another? I don't know. It makes no sense. But recently, Avi dropped another article. And in that article, he's going through a lot of scientific calculations that normally would be done with a normal comet. And the numbers for 3i Atlas are completely out of range to where he's now again leaning a little bit more towards this is manufactured by someone. Now, let's be honest. If you want to drop, like I said, a Trojan horse, what's the best way to do it? You make the shit look like a horse. If it's going through space, you make it look like a comet. I don't know. This is going to be a good one. This thing is still visible. They've got a bunch of platforms out there looking at it. Avi Loeb is staying on top of it. And it still needs to go past Jupiter, which apparently last month it did something interesting because it changed its trajectory on its way to Jupiter. But, they'll tell you it's just a comet. There's been conspiracies out there that 3i Atlas was spotted many years ago, up to 20 years ago, by a Earth defense program called Cassandra. Now, I've been looking for Cassandra like crazy. I can't find that hoe. She's nowhere. Cassandra is on the loose. And all you hear is, all you find when you search for Cassandra is mentions of Cassandra a few years ago inside of somebody's research paper. Come on now. Come on. Where is Cassandra? I want to know. Is Cassandra real? And is there, and how big is our defense from these deep space objects? How quickly do we see them? Because it just appears to me that we're not that good at following these things or tracking them or finding them. But this observatory named Atlas apparently from 3i Atlas on is going to make this particular situation a little easier for humanity in order to find these objects. 3i Atlas is the third object. The second one was 3i Borisov, 2i Borisov, not 3. And the first one was Oumuamua, interstellar objects. And actually, the first one and the third one, Oumuamua and Avi Loeb, yeah, he's a little strange. And 3i Atlas are the ones that really acted really peculiar, very strange in their behavior. The other interesting fact is that 3i Atlas apparently came very near from the area where the WOW signal originated from. I mean, there's so many coincidences when it comes to this particular rock. I just don't know. I mean, if you've been following it, you know. If you don't, you don't. But again, something to keep an eye on. We're still going to be talking about 3i Atlas for the next couple of months. And if Avi Loeb is correct, we're going to be talking about 3i Atlas for quite a while. Way past it leaving our solar system. The other thing I want to bring up in this particular topic is Avi Loeb. I feel like, I don't know, you guys think about this, but I feel like Avi Loeb at one point was given a little tidbit of a secret about an interstellar object coming in, which is not natural, that it is a mechanical device, an alien device. Because that literally, he has hung on to this particular, I don't know, stance since Oumuamua. And he is really, I feel like he's really convinced that we are going to eventually one day have an alien Trojan horse just dropped on our laps. And he's like, hey, you got to be ready. You have to be able to, you know, react to these things. Look at all of it, not just some of it. Look at all of it, study it, record these things, know the difference. He's not wrong about that. Let's be honest. He's on top of that. We should be doing that. I mean, how dumb are we? Don't we make enough movies where shit goes wrong when we don't look or we don't pay attention? I mean, kudos to Avi. And and if it turns out this was a Trojan horse that just missed us, well, there you go. Now we know. Anyway, I'll have some links for this stuff in the description for the show. Again, it'll be on YouTube. Hopefully, I can do this weekly, but we'll see. I'm going to try my best this year because I really feel that from this year, 2026 to 2030, there is going to be some wild experiences when it comes to ufology. I've been doing a lot of studying about this claim that, 2027, 2028, disclosure will happen for us. ET is going to come out. There's a lot of people, of course, mixed into the whole ufology framework. Yeah. But there's people who are mixed into, let's say, energy work, psychics, folks like that, who are not in ufology, who don't normally take part in the ufology conversations, who are saying the same thing. Something to watch. I'm telling you, I feel like we need to be about it. There's got to be something going on that we're just not, I don't know, we're just not privy to, should I say. Anyway, let me look over here. Sorry, I have a new platform too, so everything's all crazy. I thank you guys for listening. Follow us, share it. I mean, it's not the best content in all the world, I guess. It'll get better. We'll get back to fighting weight, as they say, as we look at some of these crazy things, the wildness of ufology, and the craziness of NHI. And hey, we even got to tackle USOs, of course. We haven't even done that. I really haven't done that at all. But at Catalina, out in California, gosh dang, there's got to be UFO bases there. This is Manny signing off. Thank you again for listening. And don't forget, the truth is out there. You just got to fucking try to find it. Come on. Where the hell's this button? Ciao.